Hi, Sarah here with a process video for you today. I'm going to be decorating this ceramic ornament that I got from Hobbycraft, and I'll be using some crafty ribbons towards the end, you'll see, to create the hanging part of it. So to begin with, I'm just going to decorate the actual star. First off, I'm adding 2 layers of gesso over the top. I plan on using lots of mixed media. I want a nice base of gesso to make sure that all the colours sit nicely and soak into the gesso nicely. So first off I'm using some crackle paste. This is just to create some texture, and at the moment it's smooth, and once it's dry, as you can see, it goes all crackly. And next I'm using some texture paste through a stencil just to add a little bit of this scripty font type stencil, and then I just scrape off the edges as well, any bits that are hanging over the edge. Next up I'm going to prep some of the pieces I want to add. So I've got a card star and some little pine cones, I think they're called, and I'm also going to use some of my modelling material to create a few extra shapes. I'm taking these out whilst they are still not set, because I want to be able to mould them around and slightly change the shape of them if I need to, so that they fit nicely on the star. So now I've got together all the little pieces I want to use. I've got some small pieces of cheesecloth or gauze and some tulle as well, and that's what I'm adding now. I'm just using some 3D gel medium by Prima, and I'm just using an old paintbrush just to add lots of layers of this. It's very fine and it sticks really well through the gel medium, and it just adds an extra bit of texture to the background. And now I'm going to add my layers of embellishments. First off I'm adding this snowflake, and I'm just going to add this moulded piece down the side here. As you can see, I can smush it down slightly so that it fits the way I want it to. I'm also adding a few of the floral pieces from that same Prima mould just around the edges, and then I'm also adding some of these pine cones as well. Most of the products I'm using are either from Thompsons Crafts or Paper Pen Plant, and then of course my base is from Hobbycraft, so I will link those shops below if you want to go and check out some lovely mixed media goodies and different Primo things that I've been using. I'm using impasto paints now, and I'll be adding some water to these just to spritz, just to help the paint move around better, because I just want to add this in a kind of a wash over the top. I didn't wait quite long enough for my my moulded piece to dry, so it did actually sink into the shape a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because I do go over the top of it all with more and more layers, so I just work around that. So now I'm adding some of the darker colour. I had to leave that to dry rather than add it all at once because it wasn't quite dry and it started to make the surface slippery. So now I'm adding the darker colour, but I do decide that's still not dark enough, so I do actually come in with more colour in a minute, because as you can see you can't really tell the amount of texture on the star at the moment. It's not really standing out as much as I'd like it to, so I do need to come in with something darker. So I've just grabbed this from my stash. I've had it for years, and it's a distress spray, and I'm just taking the spray out of it and just dabbing bits on, then using my water bottle to just spritz it to spread it round, and that just adds so much more depth to the actual embellishments. It really helps them stand out and show how textured the actual piece is. So I just keep adding until I'm happy with the amount I have. I want to add a few splashes here and there around the edge, so that, and as you can see I do keep rotating it as well. That's so that I can make sure that I'm getting all the little nooks and crannies around the place, so that I know that it's got I've got it everywhere. And now it's dry, as you can see it's really brought out all that texture. I've just added that first flower, that's a Prima flower, and I had 2 more which are from Wild Orchid Crafts I got years ago. Just adding those, and as you can see they're really bright, but when you see my ribbon it does make sense why I've suddenly gone for some bright pink in there. I added a couple of rosebuds there, but as you can see now at the moment these colours are really stark and I need to make them all blend nicely together, so I'm using some impasto paint in white this time, and I'm just going around the whole of the star, adding lots of white here and there to give it a kind of frosty winter look and also to help the colours blend better together. But you can obviously still see the different shades of blues and pinks in there, it's not completely washed out. And so as you can see I rotate it round again, making sure that because it's so 3-dimensional, I need to make sure I'm getting all the right on all the places. So next up I'm using the snowflake paste. This is new to me, I love it, it works wonderfully. And I've just used a really old brush and I just add it in bits and just go over the top and over the top until I feel like I have enough. So it's quite chunky this. It does dry to give a icy snowy effect, like it's fallen snow onto the embellishments. And this is from Paper, Pen and Plan. I also wanted to add a little more, so I want more shimmer. So this is the unicorn paste, also Prima, and I also got this from Paper, Pen and Plan, and I'm just adding a touch of that over the top of the snowflake paste. And there are quite large chunks of glitter in this that are iridescent, and then there are smaller pieces, so I do add quite a lot, and then I add it just painting the glittery part just over the whole thing so the whole thing shimmers. And then just for a little bit more of embellishment I do add some of that liquid pearl type stuff, I don't know the name of it, it's by Bo Bunny, and I just add a few dots here and there. I think this came in a very old minor scrap kit, and I'm almost ready for my wonderful finishing touch, which is my new ribbon that I got from Crafty Ribbons. And you'll see it goes perfectly with the star, so I'm going to trim that off so that I can add that to the top of my ornament. I will leave a link where you can buy this ribbon from, and I'll also link where you can join in the Crafty Ribbon competitions. There is another one coming up soon with another new release for winter. There's lots of lovely new ribbons for winter coming up. Now first of all I'm just going to sew the top of this together to create the loop, and then I'm adding some seam binding also from Crafty Ribbons. There's so many different colours of this, it's every colour you can think of, so I will link that below as well. Just trimming those edges down. I did scrunch it up because I wanted it nice and scrunched up ribbon, I didn't want it perfect, if that makes sense. And that is me done. So thanks for joining me today. Do go check out Crafty Ribbons. I will also link the shops where I got all my mixed media products below as well. And I will see you in my next video. Have a great day everyone. Bye.